Thank you. As of now, the original HexGaming review video is the second most viewed piece of content I have ever made. Thank you to each and every one of you that took the time to watch and like. But today is not a thank you video. It is a video about the HexGaming Phantom controller. This one is a release candidate. This is what anyone who pre-ordered off their website should be receiving if you go for the Hall Effect model. Hi, I'm Clef and you're watching GameTechTalk. I originally reached out to them on the one that they had sent for review, and that one had 2 issues in terms of production. So they offered to send one, and they were working on the Hall Effect sensor. So they said, if you want to wait, we can send them with the Hall Effect. This way you get to experience that as well. And I've been sitting on it for about 2 weeks, and I wanted to make an update on what has changed with the Hall Effect sensors. There is a chance that you have seen the original video, but if you have not, I greatly recommend that you watch that one first. There's a lot of information about the product, but also about the brand and why it is one of the better options on the entire PS5 controller market. And that is including the first party options. There are a few things that we still would want to address in a proper review. So I'll do that after the unboxing and rapid fire. The box itself with an embroidered HexGaming logo, and the back talks about a little bit about the brand. In the box, once again, is another box. I feel like I've been there before. Nothing special, no branding, nothing. The controller itself, but this time it's in a nice pouch. So let's just make sure that there's nothing else. Oh, there's manuals and all the good stuff. Was it the X3 Pro from Gamechanger? And someone said that they thought clear plastic looks cheap. I love clear plastic, and the fact that you have the buttons, the D-pad, the shoulders, the triggers, everything is clear plastic. Personally, wow, I think it looks phenomenal. Oh, and we can see the purple Hall Effect modules in here. Wow, they still retain that logo button instead of the PlayStation 1. Overall, a gorgeous controller. I think it looks absolutely stunning. The box where we have different stick caps. Pull out another one. And yep, clear stems for the caps. I love it. I think this is a beautiful look. Definitely does it for me. We should be getting some more stuff up in here. Oh, this is nice. Wow. Here we have what is a medallion of HexGaming, and this is heavy. Was it the retro handhelds stream, I think, with Satiric and Russ from Retro Gamecore, and they mentioned Pug at some point. Some of you might totally be thinking, what the heck is he talking about right now? Pug used to be a thing in the 90s, and this feels like a slammer of Pugs. Like it has that kind of that heavy, like the heavy ones that you would slam on. Very nice. Here we have the module. So I'm going to get to that in a second. The rubber rings for the stick caps. And then here we have a cable. This is the tool that was under one of those pieces of foam to open up the module on top of the controller, which we'll definitely talk about during this video. I feel comfortable saying that what you're looking at is absolutely, in every possible way, a DualSense controller that they open, that they modify, that they repackage, and that they sell. But the thing is, their expertise when it comes to customizing is so through the roof that they transform this controller on every level. The shell is different, the buttons, the D-pad, the sticks, trackpad, I mean everything, even the top here, the back paddles, absolutely every inch of that controller is different, but what's inside is a proper DualSense. Why is that important? Well, first of all, it retains all the features that a proper DualSense will have. The same haptics, you have the speaker, you have the adaptive trigger, you have the same feel for the buttons. What is different to a DualSense? First of all, the sticks. You can change the caps, that's different. They have an anti-friction ring, that is also different. You retain the 3.5mm jack. This works just fine with the official dock if you want to charge it. They add 4 paddles in the back that you can reprogram to your buttons so that you have quick access buttons. You also have a profile switcher here, so you can save your profiles for the buttons. So if you want to easily swap, you can double tap. And then of course you have a rubber grip in the back. You also have those little rubber that you can put around your sticks if you want something that doesn't glide as much, something that holds a little more. You have the mute button, you have the microphone is on the controller, you have hair trigger, and the hair trigger that you have is a proper button. It's not a distance corrected like it is the case on the DualSense Edge. You have a lot of things cram in there. You can see all the cables, the board, the transistors. I mean, this is an impressive looking control. I love I mean, how can someone not like the look of this? Originally, when they were making this controller, they were going for ALPS only, right? So potentiometer sticks, and the sticks here felt exactly like the DualSense. The one difference was the cap, but the stick themselves, the curvature, just the sensation was exactly like the PlayStation original ones. So here we have Hall Effect. So of course we're going to be testing that. Now, Hall Effect and ALPS, and let's talk a little bit about Hall Effect. I am making full assumptions here. So if you want to get the exact answer, you would have to ask HexGaming. Effectively, on the market, you have a lot of different modules, Hall Effect, different companies make them, but we're starting to see a distinction in the technology that is being used. You have Hall Effect as we know them. Think of it this way: you have a dome and then you have a sensor, and the dome moves around the sensor. Now, what's the problem with having a sensor trying to read the magnet of a dome? As it moves, it does so in two different planes, horizontally, and there's a little bit of verticality. And the issue with that is that you do not have a linear progression to your sticks, which can cause curvature to be a little aggressive, oftentimes at about the midpoint of your stick. And this is something that a lot of YouTubers, a lot of creators, a lot of gamers will talk about, something when it comes to Hall Effect that they're hard getting used to. And I've said it very openly. In my opinion, Hall Effect it has a lot of benefits. The main one being that it's very, very unlikely to ever drift. But when it comes to just aiming in games, I find that Hall Effect are very hard to work with. I'm going off of what I've read from HexGaming's own description, because they did give us a little bit of information as to how far they went to find the right sticks for their controller. And they do specify that they went with these sticks because it had a very linear progression. And when I'm thinking of a Hall Effect that has a linear progression, there's only one thing on the market that comes to mind. And that one thing, and you may know about it, is TMR sticks. TMR sticks are Hall Effect. They are the same technology, but the difference is rather than operating on a dome, they operate on a flat surface, so to speak. So your reading is more like a potentiometer that has also a flat surface where it's giving you your readings for your controller. Is it that HexGaming, through their tweaking, because you can tweak with this tool, is it that they're transforming what we know as a Hall Effect into something that is more linear because you're able to have a factory-like configuration and calibration? Potentially. Or is it that you actually have TMR Hall Effect sticks, they just haven't marketed that way? I don't know. But I'm looking at the facts, and I'm taking the information, and HexGaming has been very open with their process on building this controller. It feels like they're using TMR. They just haven't marketed that way. TMR is kind of, it's this new buzzword, but in terms of technology, it's kind of the same thing. I wonder, but when I'll be testing those sticks, I'll have more inputs about that. That's for me to set the premise as to what I expect and what I hope these sticks will be able to achieve once they are calibrated. Now, there are two things I also want to talk about before we get into testing. Number one is performance. I won't get into that because there's a lot of data in the original video. I don't believe I need to go any further when it comes to that. But if this is something you are interested in, again, please consider bookmarking the original video where you'll get all the data that you could potentially want for. And the other thing is DRIFix. So this is not just for looks. This actually has a feature underneath. So you can use the tool to prop it up like this. And when you open this tab, there is this little unit here. And what you can do is actually plug this little thing right here, and you can recalibrate your sticks. I'm not going to talk about the entire process because HexGaming has a fantastic video on how to do that, which I'll put in the description. But this is something we haven't seen before. We've seen controllers that you calibrate your sticks with the combination, and then you turn your sticks, you hit your triggers. What these calibrations do is they're kind of bringing you to a default setting with adjusted readings based off of how your sticks behaved when you did the calibration. Now, this is a whole different level of calibration. This is kind of, if you're at the factory analyzing your sticks and you're saying, okay, this is how we're going to produce our batch of millions of sticks, this is what this looks like. And I'm not saying exactly in that format, because clearly HexGaming provided their own created tools to do that. What they're giving you here, and this is why this tool is so unique, is the ability as you, the single owner of these two sticks. No other two sticks would be alike. Probably many, to not say all, will be similar, but those two sticks are unique. What HexGaming is doing here is saying, you have a unique product, you will make it behave at its best conditions. That is a killer feature. I mean, have we ever seen that from a controller? I don't think we have. HexGaming actually were the first to bring it to market. As far as I know, I have never seen a controller do that. Now that you know what this is for, I'm gonna do a first run of aim labs. I'm gonna do 3 rounds, keep my scores aside, calibrate, and then do this again. And then I'll do the exact same thing, but this time with the ALPS controller. And let's circle back then for the conclusion. Oh my, oh my. This is something else. Okay, it's official. I am ready to put ALPS to rest. Thank you, you've given us many years. Goodbye, it's over. This controller is something else. First of all, I realize I just kind of like tossed it away, but this is a great quality cable with metal connectors. I didn't even get the best scores with those sticks, okay? Like I'm gonna put it out there right off the bat. But there's so much to talk about. This little neat thing and the configuration and all that, that was kind of neat. It was really fun, and I don't know why it's the first time that this is happening. I feel like I have in my hands what would be a calibration tool like from factory. It's also impressive at each steps to see how your sticks are being changed at a root level. We don't ever see that. Like, yes, you calibrate and you see your sticks have a slightly different behavior, but this was like, it felt like I was the engineer just tweaking the sticks to such a precise degree. It's really a neat tool, and the fact that you have this in such a nice little encased box, branded, companies are probably going to find a way to copy this, because this is off the hook. Don't get me wrong, and we'll talk about price, but yes, it is an expensive controller, but that alone, wow, just wow. Let's talk about the sticks a little bit. Before and after calibration, there was an obvious difference. Without even getting into the calibration, it felt amazingly good. It felt really, really good. And then I calibrated it. And let me use an analogy like I did in my previous video. Funny thing about me, I used to ride like heavy motorcycles. I don't own one now. I want to get one eventually before my deathbed at least. If you have your license for your motorcycle, you know that one of the first things that they'll teach you as a rider is the direction in which you look is going to make your motorcycle go in that direction. It's all about how looking makes your body kind of lean in that direction. It's so innate. It's so natural on a motorcycle. You can't help it. So you have to really consider that as you're driving them. So why am I telling you about this? After I calibrated my sticks, that's exactly how it felt. Like for the first time ever, my brain was in such a deep connection with my thumb that when I was looking at something, it felt way more natural than it ever did before. That's why I'm this excited. I never had a stick feel like that. I talked about TMR. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. TMR Hall effect, I'm getting chills right now. I'm not even kidding. One thing for sure is I think the calibration is what is at cause. And to have a calibration that is so deeply rooted into those sticks is something I have never experienced. And that's why to me this is so exciting, because it feels as if this controller, it works with me. You know, like the way that I move my thumbs, I probably juke a little bit to the left or to the right. Like no one is flat out perfect on that axis line. But whenever I hit those cardinals, it feels like I am. I'm telling you, that calibration is giving me sticks that feels like no other sticks ever have before. This is, wow, I am shocked. Man, this is good. If you have the money, like, don't get a PS5 Pro, get this. This will provide you a deeper, richer experience than more graphics. This has given me a level of precision. You know, we talk, as a reviewer, I talk about Hall effect. I can't even finish my thoughts, I'm so excited. I talk about Hall effects and how it's so precise, because it is, the technology does do that. But there are a lot of things that comes in between. The stick's algorithm, the stick's curves, the stick's resolution, all these different things that comes in. Talking about stick's resolution, I'll put it on screen right about now. But talking about all these different things, knowing that you have all these elements that comes in between you and utilizing the technology at its fullest potential. As far as I'm concerned, HexGaming took those obstacles and they removed it. That's how it feels. That's how this stick feels to me. It's as if I don't have to deal with these obstacles. I can just get right past through and control the sticks as if it was a mouse. I'm not saying I'll ever be as precise with these sticks as I am with a mouse, but it feels so granular in terms of the way that I can move and the way that I can go into directions. But DualSense is chef's kiss. I'm not trying to say that this is bad. What I'm saying is this is effectively greater. This is the first time that I feel comfortable in saying that this is a Hall effect sticks that I will use over ALPS. Not because there's no risk of stick drift. That's not the reason. How it feels. If I just go back to the root, not the numbers, not what I see on paper, if I just go back to the way that it feels, I never had a stick feel this good. And by the way, when they announced that they were going to have a Hall effect variant, that was not supposed to be part of the experience. They were supposed to remove DRIFix altogether and the Hall effect alternative controller. But last second they said, nope, we're going to give you that tool as well and you're going to be able to calibrate it. What a awesome feature that it is. Guys, there's a lot more to talk about. The hair triggers, I used the hair trigger for the entire test. The back paddles, everything on this controller is great in terms of the extra features that it offers over a regular DualSense, and I would argue that it has a lot of benefits over the DualSense Edge, which, by the way, I talked extensively about HexGaming and Extreme Rate. They have come up with the shorts of a mod that you can do on the DualSense Edge to add more back paddles. Extreme Rate, if ever you see that video, you know. Anyways, so all kidding aside, guys, this is a phenomenal controller. I am in love with the look. I am in love with the features, but more, and probably the most important, I am in love with these sticks, because I have never felt sticks like that on any controller before it. But by the way, this is considerably lighter by about 35 grams. I'll put it on screen. But this is considerably lighter than the Edge. And believe me, holding both at the same time right now, it's very obvious to me that this is also lighter while having more features. And I said it in my original video, the one benefit that the Edge had over this controller was the possibility to adjust your stick curve in the software. It really was the only thing. All of that is no longer relevant because they have, man, they gave you a solution with this little thing. This little thing is magical. So what's left to talk about? Price. This one goes for $279 with the whole kit that I showed you on this video. If you don't care for Hall effect, but please, if you are looking to buy the ALPS version, don't. I know I said, look, ALPS feels better. And before those sticks, I would have 100% stuck to my opinion. However, these have completely changed my mind. Get the Hall effect. Don't, if you buy one, don't get the Hall effect. Trust me, you will thank me later. This is worth it. And don't be scared with the calibration. It's super easy with the video and you can redo it as many times as you want. So there's no risk of breaking anything. I messed it up a few times and I had to redo it. So it's absolutely fine. Is it expensive? Yes, but I sincerely mean this. I think this will provide you with a richer experience than a PS5 Pro. I don't ever want to play this console again without having this controller to do it with. That's how good this is. Even the fact that I have this controller because again, there was no expectations on their end. There was no talk of me doing anything with it. That was just to correct the fact that I mentioned in the review. Oh yeah, actually, I'm so sorry. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm not even kidding. This broke my mind. In the original video, I talked about the D-pad having a weird sound. This doesn't have that anymore. At least, and I did read about it. Indeed, it seems to be a thing that can happen with even the regular DualSense. This one is fine, so that's no longer an issue. One of the cons I mentioned is the ease to remove those sticks on the one that I have, the engineering sample. This one, not a problem. It's way more stiff. Like, there's no way this is coming off. I have to, and even when I try to take it off, I have to apply some serious force to be able to take it off. So they did correct that issue as well. And the reason why they actually sent me another is I had this one. This button didn't actuate many times. I didn't realize it when I made the video, but that was clearly a defect. And I'm so glad I waited. I am so glad I waited, because man, this controller is worth every penny. It's so good. Shipping on November 2nd. So right now you have the pre-order on their webpage. There's no affiliate. So if the links are down below, I'm not making a penny out of this. I am vouching for this controller because it's good. It's just amazing. So if you want to go get it, click on the links, go from you to Google. It doesn't matter. There's no affiliation here. Feel free to buy it because it definitely has my vote of confidence. I greatly believe in the product and in the brand. And so should you, honestly. Thank you very much for watching. As always, consider hitting the like, the subscribe, all the things. Leave your comments. How do you feel about this one? Do you feel like you want to go get one? And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Nice stickers. Yay, I like stickers.